Hello, YouTube. Thought I'd do a quick video here. I got something better than a Raspberry Pi. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, what could be better than that? Now, of course, this depends on what you want to do with it. Don't get me wrong. Raspberry Pi has its place. They're cheap. I did get it working with Windows 10, but the problem for me is I could not run 3 COM port type programs at the same time. Now, if you just want to run one program or another, like say for an example, you just want to run Zello and that's it with the interface board. You don't care about nothing else. Then go ahead and get the Raspberry Pi. It's cheaper. You can download my image from my forum. It's all ready to go for you. Or if you just want to run date and time and date, time, repeater ID, or announcements, again, get yourself a Raspberry Pi. They're cheap. You can copy my image. I got it on my forum. Not a problem. But if you want to run all 3 programs at once and not have a laptop, this is the way to go. This is the mini PC. This thing's got 6 gigs of RAM, 128 SSD, basically hard drive size, and it comes with Windows 11 Pro. Now you're probably thinking, well, how much did I pay for this? Well, I paid it was on sale, $85 plus tax. I see the seller has it for $90 plus tax. Still cheaper than my cheap Walmart computer that, by the way, my screen went bad on. That was $129 a year ago. I think it's even more than that now. Still cheaper getting this and smaller. And there's other advantages of this also. And we'll talk about that. There's one thing that I do not like about this, and I'm going to be upfront about it. I'll tell you that in a minute. But let's talk about the good. The good. This thing's got built-in Bluetooth. It's got built-in Wi-Fi. I purposely searched out a model. There's a lot of mini PCs out there, but some of them don't have. They only have 2 USB ports, or they only have Wi-Fi. They don't have an Ethernet connector on it. They were just one thing or another. This one has everything. This has got 2 USB ports in front, 2 USB ports in back with 2 HDMI outputs, and a CAD5 Ethernet connector so you can hook it up direct, along with built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And what's even better yet, this can be hooked up to, it does come with a wall wart, so you can plug it into AC. But if you look at this, let's go ahead and hit that and see what you think. I see what I see. That's 12 volt DC. I could hook this thing direct to a solar panel, car battery. I don't need no inverter. I mean, if you want to use an inverter, obviously you can plug in the wall wart into the inverter, but I can hook this up thing direct. So this is great. I can run all my programs, my COM port sharing program. I do have everything installed. I haven't played with it much. One of my testers, he got his before I got mine. He's been running it with the interface board, and he's been liking it so far. He's got Zello on it. He's running the COM port sharing program. He's running date and time and all that stuff. But one little problem. And if it wasn't for this problem, I'd give this thing a 5. I'm going to give it a 4. The problem is, unfortunately, if the power goes off, AC power goes off, and it comes back on, this will not boot up by itself. You have to push the power button. Now, I've been checking the BIOS. Some computers, you can change that under the power management. I have not found that setting to change that. I found settings and all kinds of stuff, but not that so far. That's the only thing I don't like. Now, if you had this hooked up to solar power, you don't got to worry about it, because unless your battery goes bad all of a sudden or something happens, well, you're not on the grid, so to speak, so you don't got to worry about power cutting off during a storm because it's hooked up to a battery. So that you probably have to worry about it. But if your repeater does not have battery backup, that could be a problem if the power goes off. Even for a split second, it's gonna turn off, and it won't turn on. It won't boot up unless you press that power button. Now, I do have a solution for this. Now, I don't want to say much about it because I don't know if it's going to work yet. But if I do come up with something that's somewhat reasonable without taking this apart and modifying it, I will definitely do a video. I do have an idea about that, though. At any rate, so let's go ahead and as you can see, I have this hooked up to an HDMI cable. So I want to show you. This is what it is. This is it right here. I don't have a keyboard hooked up or a mouse, obviously, so I can't click on stuff. But I have my AnyDesk installed. I have Zello, my COM port, Simplex, date and time. I have everything all installed. This is Windows 11. It should work just like a normal computer, so it shouldn't be a problem. Now, when you get this thing set up, you can unhook the monitor. You don't need the monitor hooked up. You don't need the keyboard hooked up. You don't need the mouse hooked up. When this thing is set up, once you get it so that it's up and running, you can use the AnyDesk remote software to enter in here to go ahead and change your settings, whether it's on your phone, another computer. That's what's nice about that. You can do that with this. So, yeah, so if I go back to here, which as you can see here, I do have AnyDesk installed, so I'm ready to go. I just got to plug in my USB and hook things up, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'll post a link to the seller. Matter of fact, here is the exact one that I bought. Like I said, I'll post a link to it. He's got it for $90. Which ain't a bad price. It's probably an overkill. You probably, for what we're going to use it for, repeater stuff, we don't need all this memory and all this, but for the price, I mean, come on. You can't go wrong. I mean, you could probably install Linux on this thing if you wanted to, I would assume. I'm not going to be doing that. I want the Windows. But, yeah. Oh, the size. 4.5 by about 4.5 by about 1.5 inches thick. Not bad. Not bad. What I'll do is I'll use a USB. This does have a headphone jack, but I don't like that. I've better luck with the sound quality using a USB sound card. So I'm going to use that along with my USB DB9 adapter for my interface board. Like I said, one of my testers has got it working. He's liking it so far. So he's so far so good. So we're going to keep playing with it. Maybe I'll make another video. I don't know. There's not really much to show. It's basically a regular, it's like installing it on a regular computer. So I don't know if I'll do a video on that. Maybe I will do a video how to install and set up the interface board from scratch. I mean, start to finish. Installing the programs, installing this, doing that. So maybe I will do that, and maybe perhaps I'll do it with this. Maybe I will go ahead and delete what I have on here just to do that video. There's one thing I do recommend that a person should do right off the bat is go under the recovery in Windows and make a recovery USB drive right away. So that if something happens and crashes, you can get your Windows back on there. So I recommend doing that right away before you do anything else. So, at any rate, I hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you, and have a good day.